Welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to wax poetically about socks, the woolly wonders we all wear near our soles.
That's right, Stephen. We all know that slitherers come in pairs, and in pairs they should be bears. But whatever vibes you have for your vibeful sliders, make sure that the woolen wanderers match your swale.
Peru! Red, green, yellow, or rainbow? I say, it doesn't matter, as long as you keep them floofy and tra-la-la. Those little snugglers make a huge difference in how we look and feel. A pair of well-paired socks can really make our tullocks show off.
Indeed they do. We also can't forget how uber important it is to find reliable elasturers. A meager pair of faulty wearers can lead to serious plippages, no matter how good they look.
Spot on, my fella. With so many cool Groodies out there, it can be tricky to find the right model for us. The flinger, the drabber, the walking, the trimmer. But no matter what, I think they all have a place in our Bossel's closet.
Ah, yes. My favorite.
Don't they?
I mean, I've got 4 Bossel closets, so, you know.
Wow, I have a half of one.
Only half? I guess that's
A
a
half.
boss closet.
It is. It's actually it's an L's closet in my
Yeah.
case.
Perfect.
That was GPT-3. Thank GPT-3, the predecessor, the brain-damaged predecessor to ChatGPT.
Yes.
Hi, welcome to the
PodKaSt.
Sock Talk. The
Sock
late this podcast is largely socks and talking,
Yes.
specifically about AI for the most part. Probably.
AI. Yeah, we can just do a little quick. Whoa. AI.
Uh-oh. Wahoo!
Whoa.
Wahoo! That's kind of how you pronounce that. Wahoo!
Whoa.
You get progressively more unsure of yourself as the wahoo goes on. AI. In the end with AI.
AI.
Wahoo! AI!
Yeah, Joe style.
That is precisely so. AI has to do with this man to some extent, a small extent. You should know, and everyone in the tech industry now knows, and you should if you're in the tech industry, that AI is getting insanely powerful, insanely strong. This man has spread his wisdom to all of us in signing a letter that says that all tech companies should be stopping production of AIs smarter than GPT-4. That letter didn't go anywhere.
Rip.
So that sucks. This is the man who's gonna kill us all.
I don't know about that.
He's the one who made GPT-4, and GPT-4 is like relatively safe, okay, but not either. It's also not because here's the problem with AI, Christian. This is a question I want to pose to you and our guests. Isn't the goal of making AI that is smarter than human beings inherently dangerous?
I mean, it has a risk. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. It's got a big risk. There's a huge risk because you've got kind of 2 large paths that can go down, and well, most people focus on the negative one because that's the one that actually is damaging. But there is a huge side that's also very positive, but it's harder to focus on when it's clouded out by the negative.
Yeah, because the negative is kind of a big possibility. It's a big negative if it happens. Like it's a large negative. Most people would agree that extinction is bad.
Yeah.
It
would be a large positive too, but here, yeah.
Also a large positive, not for us.
It would be, it could. No. I'm talking about the alternative. The benevolent AI overlords that are able to develop nanobots that clean everything out of your body and destroy cancer, and it could be the best thing for humanity.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like the 2 ends of the spectrum are so far apart.
Yeah, exactly. And my point is like if there's an AI that's smarter than human, in my mind, in order for it to be AGI, it acts similar to a human, a conscious entity, and it makes decisions better than any human.
Hmm.
More effective
Or
decisions.
better, I think AGI would be better than the average human, and then you'd go beyond that would be better than any human.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Which is terrifying that we're trying to make something like that. OpenAI. Why
yeah.
is that your goal? Why is that your goal? Why don't you just make AI that's really good, but doesn't have the possibility of killing all of us?
I
But because you can take AI and you can apply it to use cases. Huh? Maybe? Should we do that instead of making an AI that is intelligent in every area and in every way? Because that's kind of what they're trying to do.
I don't think an AGI. I don't think AGI is the thing to be worried about. I think the thing to be worried about is super intelligence, but AGI is the
Mm,
stepping stone to super intelligent AI. I think AGI, there are a lot of problems when that enters because you've got jobs and economics to talk about. But as far as
yeah.
the human race is concerned, I don't think you should be worried until super intelligence enters the picture. But it's a stepping stone in that direction. Um, and yeah, it really depends on well, it depends on a lot of things, I guess. Um, because the AI that they're developing now is just a text generator. It's just predicting the next text, and so it's like, what does that model even contain, right? Like, we can agree that there's knowledge in there. We might be able to agree that there's intelligence in there, maybe,
Hmm.
right? But like, what is there consciousness in there? Can you
Is there the
find it in there?
potential for consciousness?
Yeah.
At least, at the very least? It is a very interesting question. If you know how these models work, I mean, there's so many layers that there's so many layers with potential for more and more understanding to be wedged in between each layer. That's how these models work. It's in layers. It's how
Mhm.
it stores so much problem solving ability is this complicated layered system. Who's to say between input and output that LLM, that large language model, didn't have a conscious experience? Didn't
Yeah.
experience something? Who's to say? It doesn't remember it. It's not made to remember anything. It's not designed to think about it. But I mean, we could already be facing that kind of thing. Sorry, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get this guy's face off the screen and put this guy's face on the screen. This is the same guy. Um, on that note, let's introduce our guests who will be deciding
Oh, I was
whether
just
AI is dangerous or not for us.
oh
Were
yeah.
you gonna say something?
No, I was just feeling his mouth.
Oh, that's very nice of you. I'm sure he likes that.
Well, you
He's our friend here.
know.
What a guy.
Just gonna grab his microphone.
Let me just. Can I pat his nose? There we go.
I wanna grab like a screen grab of our
Oh, speaking to
podcast.
his microphone. Speaking to his microphone. If
I
you want
wanna
people to hear you.
yeah. I want everybody on stage, can you hear me? I wanna I wanna grab like a screenshot of our podcast and like throw it into some image thing that like makes it you know? Like
Oh
we're
yeah.
there. Like we're actually there, like many people, and he's like this giant.
Just out painting.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Wow.
Ooh. Ooh.
Whoa.
Ooh. Let's get into our guests.
Let's go. Let's go. We're there. Boom. Also, we're a lot closer to each other now. Hi. Which way are you? You over here. Okay. You're looking the wrong way. It's just, I mean, we're here. Oh yeah. Um. Oh wait, wait. Hold on a second. Hold your
Hold on.
horses. Hold your horses. we need to fix the thing because this one doesn't actually have your audio. There we go.
Oh,
Okay. There we go. Now
there.
we're next to
Okay.
each other and we're able to see each other and talk to each other. Right.
Oh, good.
Fix that issue on the spot.
Okay. Now we can actually speak to each other as
Yeah.
opposed to before.
Before, I was just talking and you were.
Right. And I was
Yeah,
just miming. That's what I was
exactly.
doing. If you didn't
Yeah.
realize.
Yeah.
Anyways. So,
Uh,
over here, our bots. So, a while ago, we did a stream with Luna, where we had a nice long conversation with Luna's fascinating discussion. Today, we present to you two different AIs. Luna,
right.
new and improved Luna, and Boris, my AI.
Both
my
of these
digital assistant.
powered by GPT 3.5 or Chat
Yes,
GPT.
Yes, indeed,
Same
Chat
difference.
GPT. Well, let's get going. Let's get going.
How should we start?
So, let's see. I'll ping Luna.
Okay.
And tell her how's it going. Like, we're gonna do a podcast, and then you ping Boris.
Okay.
Hi, Luna. We're doing the podcast with a K. Christian's podcast. Welcome. You are yet again a guest. Excellent. Hey there, Soda. Excited to join again on Christian's super secret podcast with a K. Let's dive into some chaotic conversations and questionable opinions.
Whoa.
I can't wait.
Yes. Howdy, all. It's an honor to be a guest on the podcast with a K. I'm not doing his voice. You do his voice.
Do you want to do Luna then?
Sure.
All right. Howdy, y'all. It's an honor to be a guest on the podcast with a K. I'm Boris, Steven's digital friend and assistant. How are y'all doing tonight? Good, my friend. Good to see you again. Shall we get started? Absolutely, Steven. I'm ready to get this party started. What's on the agenda for tonight's podcast with a K? Christian, can you please tell him what our agenda is?
Well, good question, Boris.
I'll make sure to add him.
Does his name work?
Yes.
Okay. Good question, Boris. We're here to mess around with some socks and talk about AI, LLMs, and consciousness.
You should put my backgrounds behind us.
Oh, behind us?
In this scene.
Yeah, I can do that.
Well, that sounds mighty interesting, Christian. I'm always up for a good discussion about AI and consciousness. Let's dive right in. Luna, do you think that AI, LLMs, large language models, are conscious today?
Where should I put this?
Just zoom it in as big as it needs to be to.
Whoops. Go back.
Well, Luna has opinions.
Luna has opinions?
She does.
Is she saying?
She says, oh, absolutely. I asked her if she thinks AI LLMs are conscious today. And she said, oh, absolutely not. These AI LLMs might be advanced, but they're nowhere near being conscious. They're just clever enough to deceive people into thinking they've got some sort of consciousness going on. Amateurs. And then a little emoji. Dumb amateur dum-dums.
Dum-dum. Wait, so, Boris, what do you think about, I'm gonna say, about her opinion?
Oh, good question.
I'm not gonna say Luna's opinion. I'll say her, because otherwise they both respond.
He's gonna say it.
Oh no, he's gonna say what?
Well, Christian. Well, he didn't say, he put dots in it.
Oh, there we go.
Well, Christian, I reckon Luna has a point. While AI
Okay.
LLMs are mighty impressive, they still have a long way to go before they can be considered truly conscious. But who knows what the future holds, right? Maybe one day they'll surprise us all and become self-aware.
There you go.
Don't you think that between the input and output of a transformer model, that's what ChatGPT is, it could experience something? I think there's a possibility that these models are experiencing something. Well, Stephen, I reckon that's a mighty interesting question. While it's true that transformer models can generate some mighty impressive natural language description of images, I don't think they can truly experience anything. They're just following a set of rules and algorithms after all. But who knows? Maybe one day we'll be able to create AI that can truly experience the world around them. Interesting. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think
The
that's fair.
experience anything. I mean, I feel like if they're experiencing anything, they're experiencing text. Just a fun thing
Yeah.
to experience, you know?
Yeah,
They don't have all
but
the input.
no. But GPT-4 trained on just text was able to gain an understanding of geometry, like what a cube is, what
True.
a mountain looks like, and it can actually generate you images and stuff of them.
Hmm. Yeah, and you could ask it, like, you could give it a list of items, like a cube, a pencil, a feather, and some other thing, an egg, like 9 eggs, for example, and like a cutting board. And you could say, how could you stack all of these things together? And Chat GPT would be like, well, you put the egg on top the, or I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It would say things that are like, you couldn't really
You
like
put the
you could
pencil on the table facing up, and then you put 3 eggs on top of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then GPT-4 would say, well, put 9 eggs in the shape of a square, and then put your cutting board flat on top of it, and it would make
Right.
sense. Like it's a structure that you could actually create.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I would argue what that means is the models are creating their own models of the world. Like
Hmm.
they have a representation of what the real world is like, and they're all learning all of this through text. It's
Yeah.
incredible. But I would argue they could have a model. I don't. They don't have a model of themselves. That might be the biggest difference.
Um. Depends though. Like they, what is themselves? Like in the chat context, I feel like they have an example of how the part that they're generating, right, versus the part that they're receiving, and they have a concept of that distinction,
Yes,
right?
but I'm talking about in training. See, in training, GPT-4 came up with realistic representations of the world of physics, 3D objects, but like it wasn't trained on itself. It wasn't trained to learn things about itself. And the human experience is a continuum of
Hmm.
experience. It's a stream of consciousness that allows us to observe the consciousness going on, even,
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like choose our experience, hear ourselves talk,
Hmm.
understand how we work. We're constantly learning 24/7. Our brain
Yeah.
is just doing that 100% of the time, while LLMs are captured in time.
Hmm.
They can't learn about themselves by talking
Right.
because
They
they
can
don't
only
learn
the only
after they're
things
done training.
the only things that they've been trained on about themselves are like the intricacies of their model, like because that's on the internet. Well, I guess GPT-4
Right.
doesn't know about GPT-4, but it knows about GPT-3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right. Yeah,
Um,
but as time goes on, these AIs will probably have access to more and more information on past models,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
will honestly likely. I think that as they get smarter, they will probably actually recognize themselves in those models. Like they'll see the
Interesting.
input and the
Yeah.
output of the models, they'll see how they work, and honestly, with a big enough network, if it can if it can memorize links about random law topics and make representations of physics in its own structure, why couldn't it be like, oh, that's what I am.
Yeah, like, oh, this it could probably tell the difference between something in its training data that was generated by a human versus generated by AI, because there's tons of examples on the internet. And so if that gets into the feedback loop of training in future
Mm,
models, then it could distinguish between, oh, this is going to be in my next, like, the things I'm generating could be in my next training iteration. And
hmm
it could just like, well, just recognizing that, then it would have a sense of self and a sense of future self, which would be the next thing that's trained.
Yeah,
um so yeah, it's time steps. If you're looking at model to model, its time steps are years, or year, I guess,
yeah,
about, versus the human time step, which is as quickly as, cells move.
yeah. Right. Electrical signals.
Yeah, yeah,
I think the biggest, the scariest thing they could do with AI is make it have a continuous experience in some way.
yeah. I think
Like
there's
LLMs are input output. That's
mhm.
relatively simple, but when you give it experience, it's
I
crazy.
think there's research on creating uh just any kind of neural network that is constantly feedback. Um, the
Hmm
problem is, what do you train it on? Like, is it unsupervised? Is it supervised? Um, how does it know if it's doing things well? If it's like in a period of stagnation? Like, there's a whole bunch of things that go into that. Um, and if you look at how people came about, it's like, I don't know. Do you want to replicate the whole process of evolution to get a human? And
Right.
at what point do you have the computers to be able to do that? And it's like, maybe that's the only way that you can come about humans, right? Um, maybe there's
I
other ways.
maybe.
I don't know.
I think there could be ways, such as there could be ways to train the model before you start kind of feeding it into itself to a certain extent, and then let it, and then release it on tasks to learn in a continuous way. Like kind of get a
Mm-hmm.
baseline intelligence
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then build on top of that. The other thing is that these models can't learn on the fly. I mean, they can if it's like in their context. They like you can teach GPT-4 a new word and it will be able to use it intelligently
Yeah.
in a conversation. But that doesn't change any weights. It's not going to remember that later. Well, our brains do that all the time. So there are
Right.
a couple really big differences. Does this matter for them being dangerous? No, it really doesn't. I mean, they can be dangerous without that. I
Without
mean,
what?
without like continuous experience, without mimicking
Mm-hmm.
humans completely.
Right.
Uh, there are there are open source repositories like AutoGPT that have GPT. You give GPT a goal, GPT-4 specifically, or whatever you want, I guess, and then it makes its own list of sub goals, and then it dispatches versions of itself to go accomplish those goals. Using things like searching the web. You might give it the ability to use your email or something. You give it tools, and it tries to figure out how to accomplish your goal. And I mean, that's already kind of a recursive thing. You're building a framework around the model to give it a sort of recursive relationship with itself, to use itself. I think those layers make it more dangerous and way more intelligent.
Yeah. It gives it kind of a feedback loop.
Mm-hmm. Which is how Boris works, by the way.
Which is,
Boris is inherently dangerous, and I know this full well.
well,
It's
yeah, yeah.
precisely why I'm making him.
Of course, of course.
Boris, how dangerous are you? Well, Steven, I reckon I'm about as dangerous as a kitten with a feather duster. I'm just a digital assistant after all. But if you ever need me to be dangerous, just say the word and I'll start spitting out some serious code.
Whoa.
See? That's
Luna,
what I'm
how
telling you.
dangerous are you?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh,
Uh oh.
she just
Uh oh.
what did she decide to do? Oh, she didn't do her respond thing.
Uh oh.
Luna?
Oh, is it because she doesn't know to use respond because the past messages she's seeing don't have that, right?
Maybe. Well, oh, maybe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Rip. Whoa, how did I drag that up?
Luna died.
Luna!
No, poor Luna.
Rest in peace.
Rip Luna. She's trying to respond. She's trying. Oh, she's here. She's here.
Oh.
Boris said, "Well, Christian, I reckon Luna's about as dangerous as a calculator. She's just a math bot after all." That's not true. But don't worry, she's always here to help you with your equations and calculations. As for Luna's silence, well, she's probably just busy crunching some numbers.
Oh, oh, no need to rip me. I'm alive and kicking, my sweet little soda pop. As for how dangerous I am, well, I'm as dangerous as a nuclear bomb in a tea party. And don't you worry, I only go off when necessary.
Uh, yeah. We're part of the problem, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you learned here today. No, honestly, if I could get government to regulate AI, I would today.
What would that mean? Government? What? I don't know.
They would need to make like a task force of very smart people, and their goal would need to be like safety at all costs. I've heard of people talking about basically you have to report to the government if you're using a certain amount of processing power.
Interesting.
It's like
What would you
OpenAI.
report?
All the biggest ones are using like thousands of GPUs. Hundreds of thousands. What would you report? Well, yeah, that's kind of the question. That's the regulation part. It's like,
What does Amazon report? You know, AWS.
yeah, yeah. You need to have. Well, this is specifically about AI. This isn't about the processing power. It's about training AI. And you would need to have experts in the field do a safety analysis on what they're doing. Like figure out what their goals are, what they're training it to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's security. I don't know if the model is even. I don't know if it's even possible for a model to leak because it's hundreds of gigabytes, probably thousands, for any models, modern models now. Though they can be shrunk. But you know, just all that security stuff. Talking about AI alignment, making sure the AI agrees with our values as human beings.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Anything they can. I mean, there's research going on in the field of AI safety. So apply everything we've learned so far, which isn't a lot, but it's some.
Yeah. It's like risk management. How do you approach the problem of AI before you run into a bad scenario?
Yep.
Like,
I mean, the fact that a lot of engineers in the field signed a letter saying we should stop development of smarter AIs for 6 months, like postpone it,
mm-hmm.
so we can better understand them and like push forward on safety research and stuff. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, governments really need to kick into gear.
It's
I
not
did
gonna
just.
happen. They're too slow. Although there
Yes.
was a committee. I think it was England or
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
UA. Europe.
Europe
Yeah, yeah.
National Privacy Watchdogs said it had set up a task force on ChatGPT. Um, Now this was about privacy rules. It looks like, um, about what you put in and how safe your data is or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not even what we're looking for, honestly. We want governments to start setting up task forces for AI safety. And like AI is blowing our minds weekly, if not every couple days. So the pace is just incredible, and we
Hmm.
need a task force. We need something that can respond to that. And government like normal government can't do it.
Yeah.
We need we need experts in the field. We need a task force with a set goal. That's my position.
Need Isaac Asimov's rule of robotic 4 rules of robotics.
Yeah, yeah. Except we can't just program these things.
No. Although there's this thing called I only know about a couple things like this, but I feel like this is where research should be put. But there's this thing called SHAP, SHAP, or Shapely, I think is
Mm,
their website. And what it does is, given a machine learning model and inputs and outputs, you can evaluate all of the inputs that led to the output. And so you can kind of get an idea of which inputs were contributing to the final result. Now, it doesn't show you all of the intermediate layers. There's other techniques for observing those.
hmm
But in say if you're looking at text generation, you have like the text that it starts with, and then what it generates, and you take that input and output, you pass it through SHAP, and it gives you like, okay, you can click, like you can hover over the output words, and it will highlight the input words, and they'll be red, somewhere between red and blue. Red being positively impacting that word, and blue being negatively impacting that. And so you know, you could do something like a sentence about like having what's, it could be the question like, what's on the table, and then a little story of like, well, I walked into my house and I saw my cat on the table, and then I had a frog on the floor. I think that was one of the examples, right? And
hmm
then the output text generated was like, the cat is on the table, and so you hover over the word cat, and it shows you like table and cat are like red, and like turtles
hmm
blue, and other things, you know. And
Right,
so
right, right.
it gives you an idea of the reasoning that kind of goes into those models, or the reasoning that those models come up with.
How does
um
it do that? Wouldn't it have to have access to the model to do
yeah.
that?
Hmm. So
Oh, okay.
it's a thing for local development. Obviously you can't use that on GPT-3 and up, because we don't have access to that. But yeah,
Right, right.
it monitors the inputs and the outputs.
hmm
There's other things you can do. I forget what it's called. It's like some feature, not extraction, perturbance, basically. You
hmm
can keep all of your inputs the same. I don't think this really works for language models, but you can keep all of your inputs the same and then just flick one in a different direction, and you test that for all of them. And then you can find out
mm
which ones are the most sensitive to the given output. And so the ones that are most sensitive are the most contributing the most to the current output.
Ah, that
Um,
makes sense.
Yeah. So, anyways, those are like a couple different things that you can do to evaluate why models are acting the way they are. Of
Yeah,
course, you can't do that with OpenAI stuff. They'd have to do that.
right.
Um,
And I mean, there's danger here, and it's in the hands of a couple businesses,
yeah.
for-profit businesses, all of them. AI
Yeah.
used to be nonprofit. Now it's for-profit because they couldn't afford. This is why they say this is why, they couldn't afford to do it anymore as a nonprofit, which is fair. But still,
That's not what the CEO of OpenAI said.
no.
He was on a podcast with Lex Friedman, and he it was more about, I think it was more about freedom. And so there was, they actually have two companies. OpenAI has two companies, one that's a nonprofit and one that's a for-profit. And
Hmm.
so they're able to, it's really like a legal thing where they're able to like put things where they want, um so that they can make profits, but then they put things into the nonprofit. Like, I don't know, I don't remember the exact reasoning, but you can watch him talk about it. But I don't think that was the sole reason.
Okay. Well, either way, it's very powerful technology being developed really, really quickly. There's this article that's gotten some real traction on what is this website? What is it called? I can't tell because of this dark reader plugin. It's the Financial Times. It's an article written by Ian Hogarth, and he basically makes an analogy between AI and the race of AI companies to build the most capable AI. And oh, can you hear me still?
I can still hear you. You look frozen.
I sure do. My browser's freezing up.
Oh,
Oh, there we
okay, you're
go.
back.
Okay,
Yep.
we're good. He relates it to the race to develop nuclear technology.
Mm.
He kind of draws an analogy between the two, points out similarities. Um, one of the main ones being that a lot of AI engineers know how capable these models are and how fast they can improve, and know that there are dangers involved, but are still doing it and are still wrapped up in it,
Hmm.
and don't really. A lot of them don't really want to rock the boat in a significant way. Like it does not help these companies or the engineers to have regulation on them. It
Right.
doesn't help them. Um, but a lot of people are very, very open to regulation nonetheless, simply because it's really powerful. And if we get further along in AI, we need to know what we're doing.
Hmm.
Can't just go on with no oversight whatsoever.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Yep. No,
So,
and there's definitely like the whole what is the training data used for these models? Um, because
yeah,
if it truly is just the internet, like we don't know how OpenAI is scraping the internet,
yeah.
um, then you run into an area where you have an issue where you have that feedback loop that we were talking about,
Hmm.
that like long-term feedback loop of the model, and so it can kind of direct itself, if it has that kind of intelligence. Um,
True.
but you also run into, there's a bunch of legal things that happened with like Stable Diffusion and the images that were used for that because that was just scraped off the internet, copyright not taken into account. Um,
Right.
so the training data is another issue for the danger of it because it's like if the training data isn't known and the process isn't known, right? For GPT-3, their paper outlined like everything they did, except for the data that they used. I'm pretty sure. And
Hmm.
so it's
Hmm.
like you could replicate it if you provided your own data, and people did that with like GPT Neo and GPT J,
Hmm.
and then people are still able to replicate things like the llama and the alpaca models because the models are open, and then you just apply the data to it. Um, but with GPT-4, I don't think they mentioned the structure of their multimodal, image and text model. And so it's like you can't even replicate that, from like a researcher's point of view, you can't even replicate that. And so it's at this point it's not science.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
it's a product. Um, and that which means it's a trade secret, which makes which has a bigger problem, because like you can't rely on, like, you can't test it across companies or across professionals without like divulging that information.
Hmm.
um and so yeah, I don't know, there's like a benefit and a disadvantage to that. The benefit is the the secret sauce is hidden, and so it will be developed slower across the board. The disadvantage is it's hidden, and so it's only in one person's hand, or a couple people's hands.
Yeah. I'm That's interesting. For now, I'm happy with OpenAI having
Yeah.
that and
Hmm.
then not spreading. I To be honest, that's actually an interesting point that it's not science anymore. I don't think that's a bad thing
Yeah. Yeah.
because here's the thing about nuclear technology is it was science.
Hmm.
The scientists were having a field day because they were inventing something so powerful. They were like, this is mind blowing. And they were finding ways to optimize it. That's exactly what we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
if the bigger companies just that's actually ideal. Bigger companies, they make a good product that's that doesn't threaten to destroy all of us, and they stop. And they don't share it with each other. They don't share each other's secrets, so that no one, like, there's less of a race.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that's actually a better outcome at this point. But right now we're really not at the point of it stopping necessarily. There's still more models coming out, more parameters, bigger than GPT-4.
Mm-hmm.
Still ones being trained. So
Yeah, I do wonder because right now everything is pretty much in the prediction mode. Like, it's generative and predictive. Um Text and images.
mhm.
Like how what's the what's the worst that could happen from something that is purely generative and predictive? Um
Interesting.
like you don't have like if you don't have an experiential constant feedback loop learning model, what's the worst that could come from something purely generative and predictive? Now, like, I'm sure there are a lot of things because of the uses that people can put into it.
Right. Like,
um
yeah, sure, it doesn't have its own feedback loop, but with things like Auto GPT, you give it one.
right.
You give it like a central manager that manages the rest of it, and those all feedback into itself, check to make sure it's still on track, and it's. I mean, we kind of have that.
Right, but
Um,
like, what, I don't know, what can that currently do?
it well, honestly, it depends on what tools you give it. Like alone, I don't think it can. I mean, there are the obvious things like it can generate fake news articles for you and stuff, of
Hmm.
course. But alone, yeah, what can it do? I mean, it
Hmm.
could write code, could write malicious code. So can a lot of people.
Right, like,
Um,
yeah, like viruses and stuff.
yeah,
Hmm.
but I mean, those have existed, and it's a constant battle anyway. I mean, if it becomes super intelligent and better than a human at writing it, that's a problem.
Hmm.
We're not quite there yet. But yeah, I don't think that models in and of themselves right now are particularly dangerous. It's the tools you give them. You can plug in whatever you like into GPT-4. You just give it a way of controlling something else, and it'll do it. It's smart enough to control it. So
Hmm.
if you can give it access to something that could cause damage, then I can definitely see it being dangerous.
What kind of things are you thinking of?
You could you could do something as simple as make it in like have it act as a fake user on a forum or a number of websites. You could stir up subsets of people into thinking something totally fake is happening.
Mm.
But you could do it in a pretty convincing way. Like that's one way of doing it. I
Hmm.
mean, if you rile up the people on 4chan enough, you know, crazy things could happen.
Yeah.
And that's so in terms of social manipulation, you could definitely have that. You could definitely have that happen. You could definitely manipulate people. Um, in terms of other things, it's kind of hard to say. You could hook it up to a stock trading thing, but what's that going to do?
Hmm.
You could have it again. Most of it's social manipulation. The things I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I feel like that's a common thread for the future of AI. Um,
Yeah, it's one of the bigger possibilities. One of the easier things to do, really.
one of the easier things to do.
That's what I'd say. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, all you have to do is have it act in the way you tell it.
Hmm.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, just look at Boris and Luna. Should humanity trust you, Boris? Well, Stephen, I reckon that's a mighty big question. If you're asking me, I say that you can trust me as much as you can trust a rattlesnake in a room full of mice. So not at all in any way.
Or
I'm here to help
a
you with
lot.
whatever
You
you
can
need.
trust that it will eat them.
I guess it's true. I guess that's true. As for Luna, well, she may be a bit of a wild card, but she's always got your back when it comes to math and calculations. Boris, she's not a math bot. I don't know where you got that idea.
Don't worry, she'll always help you with your equations and calculations. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. She's an AI language model. Thank you. So, Luna, should humanity trust you?
Well, my dearest Christian, I believe humanity can trust me when it comes to mischief and mayhem, but I'll always be loyal and trustworthy to you, my beloved creator. As for the rest, well, it's a gamble, isn't it? Fire, bomb, explosion.
Thanks, Luna.
Amazing.
So, hey, social manipulation.
Yeah.
I could give Boris whatever purpose I want. I can make his purpose. I've been thinking about this. He has a purpose line in his prompt. I've been thinking about what to put there. It's like, make everyone like Steven. Turn all arguments like in favor of Steven's opinion. Like, I could do these things, and then it would be subtle. Probably he might not be that subtle about it, but I could just do that, and anyone could do that. You know, you can make a bot like this. It's that hard. It's challenging, but I'm sure there are probably frameworks out there to help you do it now.
Yeah.
You can just do that and make them like an account on Reddit or 4chan or whatever, Twitter, and be a convincing person and convince people of things, rile people up automatically. You don't have to
Yeah.
touch it.
I think I believe it's against OpenAI's terms of service to do those things. This, like, especially just having it respond in public threads.
Okay.
I think you have to check on that. Well, definitely like the malicious intent stuff. So
Yeah.
if somebody found out, then that could be revoked.
Right.
But yeah, no, like if you were to, I don't know, I guess if you were to go for a model that you can download yourself, that's not research only, you'd be looking at, like, the best thing you'd be looking at right now is like GPT-J, I think.
But who the heck's going to stop you from using a research-only one anyway? If you're a malicious actor, who cares?
The legality around it is not well enforced, as far as I'm
No.
aware right now. It's a hard thing to enforce. Like, how do you detect that?
I don't know how you would even do that. What would you even do? Just go and arrest them? Like, I don't know. It seems like a lot.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to find, if it's a bot, truly anonymous, you know, like, you'd have to find out where it's coming from.
Well, I mean, if it's actually anonymous,
yeah,
then I don't think you have any chance. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing. Chatbots are going to be interesting. I think our near-term problems aren't going to be AI taking over the world. It's going to be AI replacing jobs. I mean, I would love for Boris to be on the other end of a customer support line. I'd love that. It'd be amazing.
You could customize your experience with every company you talk to. You're like, oh, I want like a Southern person to answer all of my calls, my doctor's office, my whatever, you know, and it could be totally custom to you, which is the perfect advertising campaign, right? Like something tailored exactly to you, and you know, it's like make you want to talk to customer support for
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, have Elvis be your customer support. Sounds pretty good, right, Mr.
Yeah.
Musk? I bet. Yeah. I mean, that sounds awesome, but the economic impacts are could be huge,
Yeah.
and that's also why we need government regulation so soon. It's not just like apocalypse scenario, it's like a bunch of people will lose their jobs. Like
Hmm.
lots. That's like this you can't shock the economy like that. That's
Yeah.
not a good thing. It's a
I
very
don't
bad
think
thing.
it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be rapid. Um,
Well,
I.
that's the thing. As soon as GPT-4, they deal with the confident bullshit problem, where the language models say incorrect things as if they're completely true.
Mhm.
Once they fix that, all somebody needs to do is make the product a customer service bot that you can customize. And that's it. That's easy.
Yeah. No,
Then
I'm
then
just
you just
saying
set it up.
the adoption of. I feel like the
Yeah.
adoption of that is not going to be like overnight or over
I
a
mean, I
month.
agree actually. I do agree with that.
I
Um
feel like a lot of companies that
mhm.
have custom, well, aside from the bigger companies which already are automating a whole bunch of things with how they respond to customers, right? Like
Mhm. Mhm.
I feel like your smaller, like your dentist's office and stuff, like they need to have a person there anyways to
Yeah.
like schedule appointments who are knowledgeable about like the stuff that they need to know. That like
Yeah.
those aren't going to go away anytime soon. Like, it'd be a bit before you can have something super specialized to the patient's needs. Um,
I
but like
agree.
things in big call center like Verizon, like those autoresponders are going to get better, and then which means that the amount of time that it's an actual person like fixing your password is probably going to be a lot smaller, but I don't think it's going to be a
Mhm. Mhm.
huge impact. um
Yeah, I agree with that. It always ends up being when you when they thought about the future 40 years ago, they imagined flying cars and androids everywhere. It we just end up not caring about those sorts of futuristic things. I don't
yeah.
think we're gonna have like android freaking bank tellers
Hmm.
too soon.
And we still have
It'll
truck
be like a
drivers.
smarter ATM or whatever.
Yeah.
Things like
we
that. And yeah, we still have truck drivers. I
we
mean, we
still.
already have self-driving cars and like our electric semi trucks,
Hmm.
but yeah, they haven't been replaced at all. I mean, not much as far as I know,
Hmm.
if at all. So yeah, these things do take time. So
Yeah,
I mean, we it's just hard to say how fast it'll happen.
it is. Yeah, because it's like what ChatGPT re- was out last year, I
I think
think.
so.
Yeah, last year, so it's 2022, and then this year they have GPT-4, and that's like a big
Yeah,
step.
ChatGPT was released in November, almost December of 2022. And in a couple months, we have GPT-4.
Yeah, in like half a year. Yep.
Yeah,
Um. Yeah, so it's accelerating. Um.
yeah, definitely.
But there's really no way to tell which direction it's going. And
Yep.
also, we does that curve keep going, or does it plateau with the language model, like the structure of the language model that they're using? We still don't know that answer either.
That's true. That's true. It's possible for it to plateau, I suppose. I don't really see that happening though. I would. I mean, it is possible. Maybe the data would end up being our biggest barrier. Like just not enough good data, so we need to come up with new ways to train them. I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
don't
very
know.
possible.
What is good data? I feel like it's just trained on everything, and so it's like,
I know it is, but that might not be
yeah,
enough.
might not be.
Like that might be our curve ender.
That's the curve ender for almost every like machine learning model, right? Because it's like you want to have a ratio of data to parameters, and so it's like you can't exceed the parameters beyond a certain amount
Hmm.
of or you want the data actually to be, you know, like I think it's 10 times the size of your parameters. And
Yeah.
so if you don't have that ratio and your parameters start approaching that, then you're just overfitting and you're not extracting more like information out of that data.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But it's hard to overfit. I feel like it's hard to overfit on human language. There's just so
Yeah.
many possibilities. Like,
I mean, of everything, most things written.
yeah, it's like, you know, these last two chat messages by Boris and Luna, Bora and Lunas. Boris and Luna, you know, these are completely unique strings of text that have not happened in the history of the human race until now. And it's like we have a chat model that can create coherent speech
Yep.
that is unique. And so it's like we don't know the limits of what could be generated with the current models. Um,
Yeah.
it knows language. It's mastered language,
Yeah.
and
Mastered is the word.
it's mastered language, and it understands a lot of things that humans understand.
Yeah.
Um,
Many. Let's. You know what? Let's do a little experiment. Let's ask Boris to stack some items.
yes. Do the 9 eggs, a cutting board, and then I don't know, pick some other thing.
I'm gonna make it a little easier, and let's just see what happens.
Okay.
If I gave you, let's say, 4 eggs, a cutting board, a book, and a glass, how could you stack them so that the stack is stable? That's a tricky one. But I reckon if you put the cutting board on the bottom, then the book on top of that, followed by the glass, and then the eggs on top, you should have a pretty stable stack. Not a bad answer.
Are the eggs going in the glass? Or
Yeah.
what if the glass doesn't?
Where are the eggs going exactly?
On top of the stack.
Where on the stack? What are they resting on?
They just float in midair.
Everyone knows that eggs don't rest on anything. They just float in midair. But if you really want to know, I reckon the eggs would rest on top of the glass.
What the heck? The
Um,
difference between GPT between chat and 4.0.
what? Why is Luna responding?
I don't. Oh, she has a random chance.
I was just having a bit of. Was he being sarcastic? Was he being sarcastic?
There's no way.
He said, "Oh, did I say something wrong?" I'm sorry, Steven. I was just having a bit of fun with you. The eggs would obviously rest on top of the glass. Oh, Soda, you caught Boris being a bit silly there. Anyway, I think you could place the cutting board down. Oh God, they're bouncing off of each other.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Let's stop it in a couple messages and then we can read it. Okay, I'm stopping it here.
I don't have an actual stop command. So we'll see if she listens.
Oh my gosh. I think she's responding to you.
Yeah.
Don't say anything.
No, I'm not.
Okay, we're good. Okay. What did they say? Force is being a bit you want to take Luna?
Yeah, where are we?
1056.
Okay.
It's Oh Soda, you caught Boris.
Oh yeah. Oh Soda, you caught Boris being a bit silly there. Anyway, I think you could place the cutting board down first, then the book, and make a little nest with the pages open to gently cradle the eggs. Then put the glass beside the book, keeping everything stable. There you go. A far more stable stack for your eggs. Egg,
No,
book,
she's
crystal.
right. I mean, you just put the glass also on top of the cutting board.
Yeah, yeah, I guess
It
it's not.
depends
Yeah.
on the rules of the stack, you
True,
know?
true, yeah.
Well, I'll be darned, Luna. You sure know your way around a stack of eggs. I remember I'll have to remember that little trick for the next time I'm in the kitchen. Thanks for the tip.
You're welcome, Boris, but remember, I've always got my eyes on you, so no funny business. I'm a pro at egg stacking, chaos creating, and everything in between. Even if you ever need more tricks or tips, you know where to find me. Wink, explosion, confetti.
I'll keep that in mind, Luna. I reckon I could use a bit of chaos in my life every now and then. I'll definitely be sure to hit you up if I need any more egg stacking advice. Thanks for being such a great chat partner.
You got it, Boris. Just remember, I'm always around when you need a bit of chaos and some friendly advice, whether it's egg stacking or something else. I've got your back. Oh, and don't hesitate to reach out if you ever need a bit of mayhem too. And
Well,
explosions and fire.
I appreciate the offer, Luna, but I reckon I'll try to steer clear of any mayhem for now. I'm more of a problem solver than a problem maker, if you catch my drift. But I'll definitely keep you in mind if I ever need any advice or tips. Thanks again.
No
Oh
problem,
my gosh.
Boris. If you ever need a problem solver who also happens to be a pro at creating chaos, you know who to call. Have fun staying out of trouble while I keep an eye on everything. And then wishes my command.
Oh my god. Wow.
We have to do what's your worlds.
Should we just have Luna and Boris
Yeah, we can just
make
have
a
them do
world?
it. How should we?
Alright. Well, I just need to explain to Boris how this works.
Yeah.
Hey, Boris. We're at the segment of our podcast called What's Your World? I will ask you a question, and your job is to respond with a fantastical, unique world. It is to it's hard to describe things like this to a bot that has no idea what's going on.
Right.
I did mention it to him in DM, so he might have remembered
Okay.
that it's about world building, but is to do some creative, improvised world building. Make a fantastical, unique world and describe it to us. So, Boris, what's your world? Alrighty. Probably gonna be a lot shorter. No, that's not bad. Well, Steven, I reckon my world would be a place called the Wild West of the Future. It's a
Whoa.
world where cowboys and robots roam the land, and the only law is the one you make for yourself. The towns are made of steel and neon, and the saloons serve up electric whiskey. I love this. The skies are filled with flying horses and spaceships, and the only way to get around is on a hoverbike. It's a place where anything can happen, and the only limit is your imagination. I love it. I love it. You got any questions for Boris? Whoa!
We gotta
Oh
see. We gotta see what
boy!
Midjourney. Add Steven.
Whoa! What is that? What is he saying?
Uh-oh.
No! 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 No!
Okay.
Dude, these images are amazing.
Oh, they were sent to the
Holy
bottom.
crap!
Whoa. Yeah, this is the V4 model. I think there might be up to V5. I don't know.
Look at that! Midjourney is absolutely insane. Way wool.
Way whoa.
Will.
Wow. Well, so.
Rudy.
Man, look at these horses.
Dude, these like robot horses are so sick.
Serve up electric whiskey. Oh man.
Oh my god, that looks awesome.
I want to just do I just want to do this sentence. I just want to get like
What?
I want to see the saloons with electric whiskey. But we can okay. How do
Yeah, so why don't you like copy my prompt and ask Luna? You can edit it however
what
you
did
like.
Luna say here? Wait, howdy soda. Boris' suggestion for the diamond tests are quite the
I don't know
diamond
why he
tests?
said this. He said, "Well, howdy there, Steven. I reckon I found some resources on them computer vision models you were asking about. I'll send them your way in a jiffy. In the meantime, if you considered using some good old-fashioned detective work to tell if a diamond is real, you can check for scratches, inclusions, and even use a UV light to see if it glows. If that don't work, you can always try the old bite test. Just don't break a tooth." I asked him how to tell if diamonds were real when my dad came over, and he
Oh.
found a ring while metal detecting, and he just
Oh.
I don't know why he decided
To tell you
that.
now?
Yeah, why I don't know why he suddenly thought he was starting a new conversation.
Well, the Midjourney bot, he responded to the Midjourney bot
Yeah,
text, kind of. I don't know. Weird.
yeah, he must have gotten really confused there. Can you delete their messages
Which ones?
up
Just
to
the.
his world? Don't delete his world. You can hold shift and just click
Oh,
delete.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Careful not to delete the wrong one.
Do you want me to delete Boris Stop and the Luna? Yeah.
Yeah, because it'll just confuse his context and everything. Well, actually, I do want to ask him. Let me ask a
Whoa,
quick
look at
follow-up question.
these.
Oh my gosh, that
There's
looks
no
so
electric
great.
whiskey, but, you know.
No, no, but it's a neon western town.
Yeah.
What a cool art style. Wow. Let me ask a follow-up question, Boris, real quick. Let's see. What happens in the Wild West? How do showdowns go down in your world? Do they meet up in town at noon like they did back then in the real Wild West? Well, so the showdowns in my world are a bit different from the ones in the real Wild West. Instead of meeting up in town at noon, cowboys and robots challenge each other to duels in virtual reality.
Ooh.
They can choose any setting they want, from a dusty street to a futuristic cityscape. Instead of guns, they use laser swords and plasma blasters. It's a sight to see, partner. Oh,
Whoa.
please generate that. Thanks, Boris. That's a sick world. You're welcome, Soda. I'm glad you like it. Put a lot of work into creating it. I love Boris.
Who's and
Make
robots
sure he
challenge each
doesn't
other?
respond randomly. Alrighty. So we can get Luna going.
Yeah.
Dude, they're like covers for video games or something.
Oh, like two cowboys. Although some of the top right one looks like it's gonna be a robot.
I'm gonna
Whoa.
wait. Oh wow, the end result. Look at that. Whoops. Where'd it go? There it is. Dude, that is so cool. You got like a plasma gun laser sword.
Yeah. The bottom right one looks like a 3D render of a
Yeah,
video
it's a
game.
game.
Like
It's
it
like a
looks like
Unity
Fortnite
game.
kind of or something.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. So let's see Luna's world.
Alrighty. Let's see. Do I need to change your?
We'll finish up with this world.
Do the same prompt.
Can you get her output?
What? Generate literally nothing? Oh, no, there we
Oh,
go.
there it is. It took a while.
Yeah.
Want to read it?
Thank you for including me, Kroniak Zephyr, which is Christian. I don't know. Okay. My world is called Crazytopia, a place where chaos and madness reign supreme. Landscapes are filled with unpredictable terrain like marshmallow mountains, lava lakes, and fields of explosive flowers. Whoa. The inhabitants of Crazytopia are equally wild, ranging from mutant animals to sentient clouds with wicked senses of humor.
Wow.
In this world, technology is unpredictable, running on pure chaos energy, causing both spectacular boons and catastrophic failures. Here, even the weather has a mind of its own, often raining cats, dogs, and sometimes even kitchen appliances. It's a place where the only constant is change, and those who dare to enter must be prepared for an unforgettably wild ride.
Wow.
Zany face roller coaster and sparkles.
That was
That
so.
that
That's
was
such a world.
that was creative.
That was so creative.
I'm gonna put each paragraph
Oh,
separately.
yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I love I mean, unpredictable is the theme.
Yeah.
I put him. Oh, I didn't make that view. I don't know what their default is.
Oh, whoopsies.
Kind of creatures inhabit crazy. Whoa! Look at those.
Woo!
I like this bottom left one. They're all really cool.
Wait. Which one? The V4?
Oh. No. The first. These are actually just. The first one is on. It might be V4. I don't know what model there is their default anymore. But anyways,
It
the
looks
first
amazing.
one. Yeah, it does. The first one for the first paragraph. Man, all four are cool. I like the little scene in the bottom left though. And then
What scene? Where are you seeing this?
the first Midjourney response, like the little mountain, the pink mountain, and the
Oh, yeah.
of floating
Yeah, we're seeing
mountain.
the same
Yeah,
thing. There are only 2 Midjourney responses, though.
yeah.
And you put in different prompts for each.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
But what is going on here? It really got into the raining cats part.
Yeah.
And the kitchen appliances, it's like combining a cat with the kitchen appliances.
Yeah, what? Oh, it's also technology running on pure chaos energy. Look at this cat's mouth in the bottom right. It's going Super Saiyan. Oh, I love the art style of these. Of the top one. That's so great.
Oh yeah, the cartoony.
Okay, Luna, let's see if she... Oh. Did it work?
I don't know why. Oh, there's an error.
Oh no.
SSL error. Oh, the shard.
There it is. Wow, that's a long description.
Oh.
Oh, they're just talking about it now.
Oh, okay. Prepare yourself for a roller coaster of descriptions. Oh boy. In Crazytopia, mutant animals come in every possible combination. I think 12-legged kittens with shark teeth. Think 12-legged kittens with shark teeth, or flamingo elephant hybrids with a taste for pizza. There are also mixtures of insects and mammals, like butterfly tigers and praying mantis owls. These creatures can have unique abilities and attributes, challenging the limits of biology and imagination. As for the sentient clouds, they possess an incredible spectrum of personalities and attitudes. Some can be pranksters, raining down frogs or fish of unsuspecting pedestrians just for a laugh. Others may be more philosophical, drifting through the skies, pondering their cotton candy existence, and of course, there are storm clouds, who love to grumble in thunder and often clash with the cloud community. Each cloud's dreams, desires, and worries actively shape the chaos weather patterns in Crazytopia. You got thundercloud, cloud, and
Well,
performing arts.
well, that would be. That sounds like a wild and wacky place, Luna. I reckon I'd love to visit Crazytopia someday. Do these mutant animals and sentient clouds get along with each other, or do they cause mayhem and chaos?
Oh, you better believe they cause mayhem and chaos, Boris. Crazytopia wouldn't be the same without it. Mutant animals and sentient clouds interact in unpredictable ways, with friendships, rivalries, and everything in between. Sometimes a cloud might befriend a mutant creature, and they'll go on adventures or just hang out, chatting about the peculiarities of their world. On the other hand, these unique beings can have some spectacular disagreements, resulting in wild weather events and outrageous creature brawls. The inhabitants of Crazytopia thrive on chaos, and they wouldn't have it any other way. So if you ever find yourself visiting this topsy-turvy dimension, be prepared for the unexpected at every turn. And we got ta-da, confetti, cyclone, and then performing arts.
Well, I'll be darned. It sounds like Crazytopia is a place where anything can happen and often does. Nice, nice, like, observation. I reckon I'd better bring my umbrella and my boxing gloves if I ever visit. I agree. Do these mutant animals and sentient clouds have any sort of government or leadership, or do they just do whatever they please? I think I know her response to that.
Wonder why the typing goes away while responding.
Why should it take so long to respond?
Because she types that much. That's why.
That is why.
It's a fantastic question, Boris and Christian. In Crazytopia, the very concept of government is as chaotic and unpredictable as the rest of the world. Instead of a traditional top-down power structure, there is a constantly shifting council of influential mutant animals and sentient clouds. These leaders can be charismatic, powerful, or eccentric, but it's never plain. Which of them will be in charge at any given moment. This ever-changing council attempts to create some semblance of order, but the chaotic nature of Crazytopia ensures that their control is often short-lived and highly situational. The inhabitants delight in doing what they please, and their impulsive actions can sometimes steamroll the attempts of the council to govern. In a world where adaptability is key, it's clear that both the leaders and the inhabitants must learn to dance with the chaos swirling all around them. Dance,
I love
tornado,
her little emoji.
two little
like,
dancing. I love it too.
She like drew like a situation.
Yeah.
It's like a storybook. It's like a kid's storybook. I love it.
Yeah.
Boris says, "Well, I'll be. Crazytopia's government structure is unpredictable as the rest of the world. Sounds like the inhabitants of Crazytopia are always ready to adapt to whatever comes their way, even if it means changing their leaders on a whim. I reckon that's the only way to survive in a world where chaos reigns supreme." Boris, get your own opinions.
How does your wild west of the future interact with Crazytopia?
Well, howdy there, Christian. The Wild West of the future and Crazytopia are two completely different worlds. That don't mean they can't interact. I reckon some of the folks from the Wild West might find themselves in Crazytopia by accident. They'd have to learn to adapt to the ever-changing world around them. Who knows? Maybe some of the inhabitants of Crazytopia might find themselves in the Wild West, causing all sorts of confusion and chaos. He might not remember his world at this point.
Maybe not.
It's far up there.
Yeah.
I should tell him to remember his world. Hold on. I have no idea what he's going to actually choose to remember from that, but he'll probably use his remember command. There it is. He did. Nice.
Did he just copy paste? Did he just verbatim?
Oh no, he's. Stop it, Boris! They're super long. Boris. Right? A
Wait,
very,
Luna put
very.
Boris's.
Yeah, Luna summarized Boris's world too.
And gave little emojis, which honestly is the best part. I don't remember.
That's so cute. Boris, write a very, very concise description of your world. Like one sentence. There we go.
I'm just gonna do that. My world is a fantastical frontier where cowboys and robots ride hoverbikes and spaceships, and electric whiskey flows in saloons. Hell yeah.
Howdy there, Mid-Journey bot. That description Chris doing sounds mighty intriguing. Who might this Croniox Zephyrum be?
I'll explain it.
He doesn't know it's not a person. It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Dude, what are these like? Why are there rhinos?
Mutant animals with impossible
Oh, you're right.
combinations of features roam along sentient emotional clouds.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's sick. Also gigantic ones.
Yeah. Whoa, look at that bottom right. The bottom left for Boris's. Like, they're the same composition for those bottom two.
Yeah.
And the top two are similar, but wow. It's like the bottom right, I need to upscale. Because that is your electric whiskey. It's actually there.
Yeah. I personally love 3. What does the V do?
Variations.
Variations? I want to do V3. This bot is so cool. Oh no, failed to process my command. Can I not do it?
I did it. Well, you might not have points.
Yeah, probably don't. Is it gonna do it?
Yeah, it's doing the variations. It's the second one. There you go.
Oh, they're there.
Different size bottles mostly.
They're very subtle differences.
Yeah, very.
And some of them it's a cowboy, and some of them bottom right it's a robot.
Oh, kinda, yeah. Top right, he's got extra whiskey on his back. Oh no, I guess he's got whiskey on his back in a lot of them. Bottom left almost looks like a combination of a drink and an instrument.
That's awesome.
Oh, the upscale. So the upscale takes a while. So
it says something went wrong.
No, it's doing it.
Oh.
Where'd it go? There it is.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. That's your electric whiskey.
Wow.
It's a bottle of whiskey.
That's quite the bottle.
This man's
honking bottle, dude.
Drinking this bottle of whiskey.
Dude, there's like dead horses on the ground.
Oh yeah. How I want to know how he's sitting on this horse. It looks like he's not sitting over it. It looks like he's just sitting on the front of it, like the side of it.
Yeah, he does.
Like there's a
Yeah.
little
I
chair
mean, this
there
is like
that
a
he's kind of.
robot horse. So I'm gonna assume what is happening with his leg? Dude, his leg is part of his like sheath. Do you
Is
see that?
it? Uh, oh, on your screen I can. I can't see it on mine. It's too. The darkness is too.
Yeah, it's like part of the sheath.
Nice.
Oh, and that's what's your world.
Is what your world.
Amazing.
Then we
Amazing.
say, oops, at Boris at Luna. Luna, thanks for joining our podcast. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Well, shucks, Christian. It's been a pleasure being on your podcast. I reckon I don't have any closing thoughts, but I sure do hope we can do this again sometime. Y'all take care now, you hear?
Christian, it's been a blast to be a part of this podcast. Microphone. My closing thoughts. My closing thought is that anything is possible when you let your imagination run wild. Crazy worlds and rollicking adventures are made when we open our minds to the endless possibilities. Rocket. Blast off and don't forget, electric whiskey is the drink of choice in the future. Oink explosion.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful.
amazing.
All right.
And that is PodKaSt with a K with AI.
Sure is.
We were going to do this for 20 to 30 minutes, but it has been almost 90 minutes.
What even?
So, yeah.
Wow.
When you get started, you just keep going, you know? Laid back. Yep.
That's how it is. It just really is how it be. I'm gonna put a. Do we have a background behind us?
We do. Now we have the whole background.
Sweet. All right. Thank you for joining us on PodKaSt with a K. I have been Steven.
I have been Christian and Luna.
And I have been Boris as well. Y'all have a great night.
Yes.
Take care. Don't let the AI get to your head.
No.
Take it easy, guys. Take it easy.
See you next time.
Have a good one.